It's Declan here, and I hope you're having a beautiful Friday. It's Friday already again. I'm just going to do a short video today. Still have my jacket on. I've been out for breakfast this morning, came home just to grab a few bits, and I'm going off to get some groceries now for a beautiful Friday evening with the family. One thing that came to me as I was chatting, after I left the restaurant, I was on my way home, and I was talking to a very nice gentleman in Dublin, and in the conversation, it came up about worry, and doubt and fear and worry are like psychic diseases, 10 years working as an acupuncturist led me to this career in coaching and consulting with individuals and business owners and authors and all different people who are a little bit stuck. Because what I started to realize in the clinic is that I was able to help people one-to-one. The person who was in front of me, now I had 2 rooms, so if you came in at 10 a.m., I'd be with you for a half an hour, and then the needles would go in and you'd have your chill out time, and then I'd go next door. But that's really only helping people in that moment and a little bit beyond there. But what I do now is really get to touch a lot of lives in a greater way all around the world, not just one-to-one in one room here in South Kerry. But the work I did there really led me to where I am now, because what I started to realize was the more I started studying my own mindset and why I was stuck and why doubt, fear, and worry were having a physical effect on my body and my happiness of my life, my sleep, my quality of digestion, my choices, my relationships, I started to realize when I started studying my mind, when these people would come for a treatment, for acupuncture, for back pain, or for migraine, or for vertigo, or whatever, I was able to say to them, I was able to tell them from a place of knowing and understanding, and really listen about what was going on, and then give them really proper advice. And the results actually started to go up. And my days with acupuncture are far from done. I've been working now for 3 years, nearly full time in this industry by myself, but over 4.5 years really blending the 2 careers together. But I'm never done with it. I definitely will go back to acupuncture at some point and merge the 2 into a beautiful system that it's in the back of the mind here somewhere, in the back of my head. But for today, I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of healing here on a Friday. If you are somebody who has clearly got digestive issues due to the mind, and it's like worry, doubt, and fear, then I want to talk to you about a really, really important process in getting to a place where there's nothing but stillness, regardless of what you hear that someone has said about you, or regardless of you open a letter and it's a bill, or regardless of what's going on in your life, that your physical body and your enjoyment of this one life that you have isn't altered or thwarted by someone just like calling you up and giving you crap over the phone for something they heard that you said that you never even did, or for even if you've no proof at all that someone has been talking about you or that someone has said something about you, but you've got your own hunches or your own gut instinct. Like one of my mentors says, and if there's any kids around, please excuse the profanity, he says, like, dude, he goes like, stop making shit up. And that's what so much of us do. When our mind isn't really in control and really focused on something, we're susceptible to all this drama and all this stuff. More so today because of social media, more so today because of all of the situations that we're putting ourselves in. We're in really big communities, even though we're at home. We're involved in so many things. We're in so many different committees and parent groups. And like there's so much possibility now. And also people are like these keyboard warriors. People are very quick to be really nasty online. But I just wanted to start you off with something that I really started with a few years ago. It's a book by James Allen called As a Man Thinketh. And he talks about thoughts and purpose. Now, one of the things I really want you to do is take some time today on a Friday and start asking yourself, like, without getting really deep into it, like, what's my purpose? Like, why am I doing any of this? What's the reason for being? Is it like, why am I here in a sense, without getting too deep in it? Just start thinking about a purpose and a focus. And I'll tell you why that's important. When a person conceives of a purpose, when a person starts to think about their purpose, they should mentally mark out a straight pathway to achieving that purpose. It could be the smallest thing. This is why spring cleaning feels good. If you ever watch that Maria Kondo on Netflix, right, you'll see everybody feels better when they declutter a place, because a cluttered house is like a cluttered mind. A cluttered wardrobe is a cluttered mind. I'm a little bit behind in my book work, and it's kind of pissing me off a little bit, but it's not affecting my physical body. Okay, so any little purpose at all, any little job you want to get done this weekend, like finish the lawn off or whatever, right? Just think of that purpose and form a straight pathway to its achievement. When you do that, you're not going to be looking left or right. you're just going to be looking straight ahead. And this is on a big scale or a small scale. Doubts and fears should be rigorously excluded, because what they are they're disintegrating elements which break up your straight line of effort. They render your straight road crooked, distractions in a sense. They call them, he says, they're infectially useless. I thought that was a pretty cool turn of phrase. By the way, this book is over 130 something years old. Thoughts of doubts and fears never ever can accomplish anything, and they never will. They always will lead a person to failure. Okay? Purpose and energy and the power to do and a strong will and strong thoughts will all cease when doubts and fear creep in. The will to do springs from the knowledge that you can. And all you have to do, like I drove myself forward for years without understanding how personal development really works. I drove myself forward in the wrong way by looking at really amazing Irish people like Donald Walsh in Tralee, God rest him, who passed on, and his speech to Brendan O'Connor, like what he said to the young people of Ireland. Very powerful. He knew his days were numbered, and he took the time to really leave a big impact in our world with just speaking from his heart and speaking the truth. And there's that girl in Cork, just over the border from Kerry, Joanna O'Riordan, born without limbs, really making a big impact. Mark Pollock, another Irish guy who lost his sight, wanted to walk to the South Pole or to the North Pole, I think it was. Again, walked to the North Pole. Then, even though he's lost his sight and was so incredible, the poor man suffered another tragedy and lost the use of his limbs, like quadriplegic, and now he's donating his body to science. Like, the mind is so more important. And I used to look at these people and I'd say, you're so crap compared to them. And that was the wrong way to drive a person forward. What I started to learn was legitimately getting a strong purpose. Like, what do I want in my life? And even this year in June, I shared it with my clients. Like, I felt like I was almost off course. I felt like I was easily getting distracted, easily getting doubts and fears. And I realized I didn't have a purpose. So I spent a whole month again kind of saying, what's the next big goal? Because if those symptoms of doubt and fear and worry are coming up, it's like a ship heading across from Ireland to America without having a clear point and destination. It's going to end up in some cliffs or some beach somewhere. You've got to have your point. That's where I'm going. I'm going straight at it, or you're just going to be blown around by the storms of the mind and the storms of having a lack of vision, right? Doubt and fear are great enemies of knowledge, and he who encourages doubts and fears, he who does not slay them, will thwart himself at every step. So I talked about how the modern world, there's so many distractions. There's so many more reasons for doubts and fears. I mean, right now in the world with COVID-19 and the bombardment of fear on media, I saw a really interesting clip this morning. An interviewer was interviewing the Amish people in America, and they were like, why do you think the Amish are not getting COVID-19? And he was like, because we don't have TV, as far as I know. And I think that's absolutely accurate. I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and we live in the same place, and it was like we were living on different planets. Their awareness of how things are versus my awareness of how things are is they are poles apart. And one thing I was very proud of is in that conversation we were able to have a conversation without judgment. It's just, I'm not judging that person for the way they feel, and they didn't judge me. And that's the way life should be. I respect their thoughts and wishes and how they want to do things, and they respected mine. And we came to a wonderful what's that thing called? A wonderful, what's that thing called? Where you come to an agreement, a compromise. There you go. So anyway, let's go a little further. The physical body is an instrument of the mind. So if you're losing sleep due to worry and fear, if you're not able to eat your food, or if you don't have a mind for food, as people say, that's not right. Okay. And the starting point is just, it's a goal. It's something small. All too often people don't start a journey because they think they have to make this major, big transformation. Now, I know that to be true, that you do need to have a pretty major purpose in life, but let's train yourself up to have small, little, medium-sized goals just to get one thing done this weekend. Just get that done. And by God, when it's done, you've got to reward yourself. I promise you, when you're going through this weekend with some sort of a small purpose to get the attic tidied up, or to finish off the bookwork, or to clean out the cars, or just get something done, like clear off the bookcase and dust it down and put it back together. And when it's done, you have to reward yourself, because you've got to teach your mind that to go after something you've never done before will be like, oh, will I bother? It'll have a goal at the end of it. And when you start getting used to making small incremental changes and small incremental results, what you'll start to do is you'll start to take on bigger ones. Next week, I'm going to be covering this, probably talking a little bit more about the bigger goals, about the life transformation, because that's what this particular course is about. We're using the principles in an amazing book called Think and Grow Rich. We're taking 5 of the 13 principles within that book and having a pretty big masterclass. So that's kind of for people who have said, you know what, I really want something different in my life, and this is my time, I'm ready to do it. But you can definitely have a look at that. But just this weekend, if you're somebody whose physical body is dealing with doubt, fear, and worry from time to time, I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't seem to get the weight off. I'm there and people are going like, are you listening? And you're like, sorry, what? I was a million miles away. If your mind is wandering, just think about a straight path through the forest and think about a track that's all windy. If you don't have a clear goal, if you're not somebody who sets goals, you're probably somebody who is dealing with doubt, fear, and worry. Think about what happens to us when change happens to us. We live in Kerry. We're here in a beautiful rural area, but all of a sudden, God forbid, we hear about somebody belonging to us who's passed away like 6 hours drive away. The whole world stops, and our only purpose is to be there for everybody else, to help everybody else out. All the sleep and the doubt and the fear and the worry, it goes away, even though we might be going through grief. Once we have this focus, all the dramas and all the things and the to-dos seems to just fade away to nothing. It's amazing, guys. And we do that when we're doing it for others, when we have to rally around people and when we have to put our shoulder to the wheel for the community or for other people. All that doubt, fear, and worry goes away when we have this purpose. But that's one that's kind of just landed into our lives. When you pick one yourself and you do this all the time, it goes away. Like I was there in that cafe this morning with a really good friend and we were just chatting about stuff. And I remember just thinking at one point, like, I can kind of eat anything nowadays. I used to be, if I ate porridge, I'd get sneezes, or if I ate this, I'd have reflux, or if I drank that, I'd, just eat everything now. I don't have a problem with that. That used to be all a psychic disease. That was worry. I was a worrier all my life up until I was 35. I'm 40 now in a couple of weeks. And in the last 5 years, just getting my mind in order, helping others to do the same. My physical condition has never been better. I was in the gym from 6:45 till 7:15 this morning. Energy's through the roof. I eat what I want when I want. Quit alcohol pretty much, 90, like I probably had about 6 drinks in 2020. And it's just amazing. And it all started with small little goals. And actually, it all started with enough being enough. And it all started with buying a book in Cork City called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, because they're all small. And to make those small changes, to make big changes, just make small changes at the start. Just a little bit of a goal this weekend. Tiny thing. Just keep it to yourself. Don't tell everyone, I'm going to do this and I've bought the app and I'm going to lose weight. Just go after it yourself. Don't set yourself up for this failure and compounding back into your mind. It's like, oh, I always fail. Tell nobody about it. Just go after something this weekend. If you want to tell me about it Monday, I watched your video Friday and I decided and it feels good. Brilliant. Because one small win is the same as a big win. Anybody that we've helped to double their income or change their life around or whatever, they will all tell you when they look back. We'd one lady popped into a call last Tuesday week. I didn't expect her to show up, and she did, and she just happened to, blurt out to the room of people that were there on Zoom that she had total financial freedom. And when we sat together in a cafe in Killarney, in Tralee, just before Christmas, like she was like, if he goes to the toilet, I'm going to run out of here. She was like, I don't want to change. What am I doing? Her new mind and her own mind were kind of having a fight, and she was like, I think I'll just make an excuse and go. And she's like, less than a year later, all like total financial freedom, no debt, plenty of income, happy days, good on her. I'm proud of her. And I didn't do feck all to do with that. Only I kept her on course. But what I'm trying to say is it started with small goals. And when I asked her, like, when you look back, like, did you really have to make this big change? And she was like, I really didn't. We think there's so much big upheaval that needs to happen. And it doesn't. When you actually get there and you look back, you'll see that you just change your thinking a little bit. You changed your habits a little bit. You changed your actions a little bit, and stuff started to change. And then that became easy. And it actually is harder now to get into fights, doubts, fears, worries, predicaments, shitty kind of thinking. It's actually, it's hard to get it there now. It's hard for me to be bothered by, like, someone said something this morning and I remember saying, oh, I didn't need to hear that. And then a second later, I was like, actually, don't care. It's so easy. And the smallest, it was almost like my body was so primed before that the smallest little text message or something, And I'd have been like, oh my God. And then I'd have to be trying to put on a face for the rest of the day. Completely opposite now. Nothing knocks me off guard. And that's the greatest gift that I hope that we can give to our clients, that they can leave working with us, never needing ever again to kind of work with someone like us. We really want to help people to live a life where they are absolutely the commanders of their destiny. That ship is always, you know, whatever they take on anymore, they've got these kind of like, we teach 12 lessons in particular, and that they've these 12 compartments that, whether it's trying to set a new goal, they have everything they need. Whether it's dealing with fear, they have it. Whether it's having to pick themselves up and go again, they have it. It's attitude, lesson 9. Whether it's all of a sudden finding themselves in a situation where they have to be the leader in the family, or whether they have to be the leader because their daughter or son is being bullied at school or whatever, they have it. Whether it's somebody who's like, a friend comes to them looking for advice, and they're like, holy shit, that's big, and I'm the only one they're telling, how can I help them? They have it. You know, you just got to start off with one tiny goal this weekend. And I started this whole stream today by saying, is it affecting the physical body? Then that's feedback that your mind is not really in total control. Thoughts become feelings, feelings become vibrations in the body. And fear is an English word to describe a vibration. Anxiety is an English word to describe a vibration. Worry is an English word to describe a vibration. And you change the vibrations by just changing the thinking. And eventually, it's like up at the pearly gates. Up at the pearly gates, you got Saint Peter, right? And when you're going in, you know, there's like standing guard at the gates of heaven. I think it's standing guard. Forgive me if I don't have that right. But as Jim Rohn said one time to Tony Robbins, he was his mentor, he said, every day you've got to stand guard at the doors of your mind. And imagine bouncers in a nightclub. Back in those days when we had nightclubs, they'd let you in or let you out. You've got to stop the BS at the door and say, sorry, you're not getting in today, and allow in the good stuff. And there is so many different ways to do that. But look, maybe you do feel ready to do our masterclass next week. It's going to be 5 days. Don't think you have to make this big change in your life. Just watch along. Do the workbook. You'll be surprised. You might think other people have massive goals and you have small goals, but there's no such thing as big or small. But what you start to realize is what you think it takes to have a big goal, you will be doing this weekend. If it's just tidy out the attic, get an idea, accept it into the body, take the actions, get the result. It's the same process that we do if somebody is at a crossroads in their life. Same process. Get a clear vision of what you want. Think about why you want it. Go after it every day. Persist. Welcome the blockages that will come. Get rid of those. Get the result. Reward yourself for getting the result. Go again. And it just becomes a way of life. And you know, you have to dedicate your life to doing it when you do it, because you're currently dedicating your life to results that you're not happy with. And that's, if your physical body is giving you that type of feedback, then you know you're already committing your life to one way of thinking. It just takes a quick alteration, and all the results are there. And they're never other people's lives that you should be living. It should be yours. And it's so easy to kind of come up with them. It's so easy to come up with a plan. It's so easy to take the steps in the right direction. And maybe because you've tried and failed in the past, it feels hard, but it's really not. So this weekend can be a great weekend to prove to yourself, if it's only dusting, if it's only cleaning out the shed, if it's only, you know, maybe you're a tradesman and somebody has been like, can you come back and finish the second thing? And it's bothering, go and do it. The sense of accomplishment is amazing. And then it's like, well, I listened to that fella on Friday morning, and if what he's saying is true, I feel great now that that's accomplished. So that was a small thing. I got into my mind. I accepted the idea. I took the actions with the body, and I got the result. So if he says I could do anything with the same process, then maybe I'll dream a little bigger Monday, and then take that into Monday morning, where we have that masterclass starting at 12 o'clock. So look, there's a link somewhere. Click on it and join. And one of my team will be just kind of holding your hand throughout the week and helping you. You don't need a lot of help, but they're there to answer any questions. So here I am again, thinking of a 5-minute video, and it's 20 minutes. It is what it is. All right, I'm away to doing some more little tiny goals for the day. Okay, lots of love. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.